To most historians, the Renaissance period in Europe begins somewhere around 1500, partially coinciding with the Protestant Reformation. From a cultural standpoint, this Age of Enlightenment saw a significant look back towards the high points of Greek and Roman civilization in areas such as art, architecture, literature, and theater. During the reign of King Henry VIII, England broke from the Holy Roman Catholic Church after the Pope refused to let Henry divorce his then-wife, Catherine of Aragon. Henry broke from the church and established the Church of England in 1534, appointing himself as the head of the church. After Henry's death, his son Edward VI was named king. However, due to being a sickly child, his reign only lasted 6 years. His ministers persuaded him to name Lady Jane Grey the next successor to the throne, instead of his half-sister Mary, because Jane was Protestant while Mary was Catholic. However, although Lady Jane Grey was named queen, Mary and her supporters executed her, leaving her reign to only 9 days. The 5 years of Mary's reign earned her the title Bloody Mary, as she often had Protestants prosecuted and executed in an attempt to bring England back to Catholicism. After Mary's death due to influenza, Mary's sister Elizabeth I inherited the throne. While Elizabeth had followed Catholicism during her sister's reign, Elizabeth was actually a devout Protestant. During this time frame of chaotic succession among the Tudor monarchs, the popularity of mystery and morality plays was still strong. However, the heart of the Renaissance started to bring a shift in English theater. In 1576, James Burbage obtained a lease to build the Theatre in Shoreditch, London. This playhouse would go on to be used by the Lord Chamberlain's men from 1594 to 1596. During Elizabeth's reign, other acting companies such as Lord Admiral's men came to be, and other theaters like the Rose, Blackfriars, and the Globe were built. This period of theater is referred to as the Elizabethan period, and it was during this period that playwrights such as William Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe published works that differed greatly from the mystery and morality plays of the last century, having such characteristics as distinct comic and tragic genres, plots that ranged widely in time and place, and multiple plots. Elizabeth herself was incredibly fond of theater and, on an intellectual level, fully embraced the Renaissance, although when it came to plays, in order to stray away from the violence of the last 5 years within England, and to not draw unwanted attention to her controversial succession to the throne, she ordered that playwrights not discuss matters of religion or politics in their plays. She often enjoyed watching performances of plays by writers such as Shakespeare, and even took it upon herself to study and even translate plays by Euripides for her own amusement. When Elizabeth died in 1603, she had no children to succeed her, so the title of king was given to her closest royal relative, James VI, who was the current King of Scotland. James accepted the throne, donned the title James I, and was crowned the first of the Stuart monarchs of England. James I was relatively fond of theater, and under his reign, theater entered the Jacobean period, where playwrights like John Webster and Ben Jonson broke out. Compared to Elizabethan drama, Jacobean drama made shifts in that, overall, there was more spectacle and violence, comedies were more satirical in nature, and tragedies now focused more on moral corruption and revenge. Think of this change as going from Romeo and Juliet to Macbeth. After James's death in 1625, he was succeeded by his son Charles I. For theater, Charles's reign issued in the Caroline period, which was more the same as Jacobean drama. However, in both 1628 and 1640, the Puritan Oliver Cromwell was elected to Parliament. This spelled trouble for those in the theater because the Puritans were wholeheartedly against the theater for various reasons, mainly moral, but also for others such as the thought that playhouses might be a center for disease as many people are crowded into them. Due to differences in policy decisions between Charles and Parliament, in 1642 the English Civil War broke out between the parliamentarians, mostly Puritans, and the English Royalists. By 1644, the Globe Theatre was demolished by the Puritans, and in 1649, Charles I was beheaded. The theatres were closed and Cromwell took on the title of Lord Protector of England. However, after his death in 1658 and the steady decline of Puritan influence, Charles II, son of Charles I, assumed the throne and ushered in the period of the English Restoration and the reopening of the theatres. Under Charles II, we see the shift out of the Renaissance and into the Restoration.